The Palestinian militant group Hamas's unprecedented attack on Israel Saturday has brought back grave memories for Israelis. This month marked 50 years of one of the biggest escalations seen between Israel and the Arab states, known as the Yom Kippur War. The 20-day war in 1973, one of the deadliest in Israel's history, resulted in thousands of casualties and transformed power dynamics in the Middle East. Today we will discuss what is the Yom Kippur War and its significance in the history of the Middle East. In October 1973, a coalition of Arab states led by Egypt and Syria joined forces and launched a two-front offensive on Israel from the north and the south. However, this was not the first time Israel clashed with the Arab states. The Yom Kippur War is also called the Fourth Arab-Israeli War, coming after three wars in 1949, 1956 and 1967. The developing circumstances over the 6 years prior to the war shaped the conditions of the 1973 war. In 1967, Israel launched attacks on Egypt, Jordan and Syria, resulting in the Israeli occupation of the remaining historic Palestine region as well as the Egyptian Sinai Desert and Golan Heights from Syria. In the 6-day war, the Israeli army managed to take over territories more than 3 times its size, thus humiliating its neighbors. On 6th October 1973, on the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur, Egypt and Syria, under then-presidents Anwar Sadat and Hafez al-Assad, decided to regain their lost territory and launched an attack on Israel. Yom Kippur, the holiest day in Judaism, is when Jews atone for their sins and reconcile with God. On this day, as part of religious observations, there are no radio or television broadcasts, and shops and transportation are shut down. This attack thus caught Israel by surprise, similar to the Hamas's attack on Saturday. In the initial days, Israel took time to mobilize its troops and hence lost some of its territory and incurred heavy human losses. The Egyptian forces managed to cross the Suez Canal and capture the Bar-Lev line, a fortified sand wall on the east bank of the canal. On the other hand, Syrian forces captured Israel's Eye, a key Israeli vantage point 2,000 meters above sea level on top of Mount Hermon. However, in 24 hours, Israel mobilized 2 armored divisions and within 3 days had quickly restrained advances on both Syrian and Egyptian sides. Then it launched its own counterstrikes. As a result, forces from Iraq, Saudi Arabia and Jordan joined the war on the Syrian front. Yet, Israel managed to make crucial territorial gains, advancing to within 35 kilometers of the Syrian capital of Damascus. These forces even managed to penetrate Egyptian and Syrian defense lines, coming dangerously close to Cairo, the Egyptian capital city. At this stage, the war approached a stalemate. Occurring during the Cold War era, both the United States and the Soviet Union had also stepped in to back Israel and the Arab states respectively, and tensions between the two superpowers escalated dangerously. The Arab oil-producing countries under the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, managed to use oil as a tactic and reduced its production of oil. It suspended oil supply to the US. This led to major price hikes across the world. Eventually, the first ceasefire was brokered by the United Nations on 22nd October. However, it did not hold. Henry Kissinger, the US Secretary of State, flew from country to country in an effort to broker a peace deal in what came to be known as shuttle diplomacy. Ultimately, the Yom Kippur War ended on 24th October after a second ceasefire brokered by the US, Soviet Union and proposed by the UN Security Council, and it came into force. Estimates indicate roughly 2,600 soldiers were killed and 8,800 were wounded on the Israeli side, while Egypt was reported to have lost 7,700 men and Syria 3,500. This is Dishha Bagchi for ThePrint. Please follow ThePrint for all the latest updates. Thank you.